Hey, Robby. I got it working. Yeah, I had a little technical difficulties, but I ended up getting it working, so we're all good now. All right, well, my name is Ryen Rassi. I'm a 2021 catcher. I'm committed to Purdue University, and I play for Tulsa Elite 18 national teams. And I'm just going to give everyone a second just to get on, and then we can get started. Hey, Gina. Thank you, Leslie. All right, so I'm gonna get started. So for anyone who missed it, my name is Ryen Rassi. I'm a 2021 catcher. I'm committed to Purdue University. I'm from Bentonville, Arkansas, and I play for the Tulsa Elite 18U national team. And I'm just here to answer any questions. I'll answer anything. I'm an open book, basically. And just a heads up, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I'm gonna ramble. I talk kind of fast, so I'm gonna try and talk a little. Okay. So feel free to ask me any questions, because I am an open book. Okay, what made you choose Purdue over other schools? So, throughout my recruiting process, I have been to like many camps, but one of the biggest thing I'd say I was looking for in a school was the player and the coach atmosphere and just the chemistry that they have. And so right when I went to Purdue, I went on that visit. I can remember we had an ice cream social. And so we were in their, what's it called? Just like where they all hang out, and the whole team was there, all the coaches were there just eating ice cream, and I could just tell, I fell in love with the team that they had there. I felt so at home, and I just felt so welcomed, and I loved it there. And obviously, it's an amazing academic school, and that's what you're going to school to get education, to get all that, and so I loved it, and they had everything that I wanted. I honestly couldn't see myself going anywhere else. Ooh, these are going fast. Sorry. When did I start playing softball? Oh my gosh, I started playing softball like t-ball. I can remember when coach pitched. My grandpa was my coach, the coach that pitched. It was so much fun, and I've loved it ever since, and I just been playing since. Have I always been a catcher? So this goes back to coach pitch and everything. I used to play first base actually, but once we started getting to like actual machine pitch and then pitching, my mom was my coach, but I was actually like the only one not afraid to to catch the ball. So that's how I like kind of got introduced to catching. Was just I was the only one that would be like, I want to go catch, like I'll catch. And then I love it. I've tried other positions. I like other positions, but I love catching because you're always a part of every play. And I like that, you always have to be on your toes. You always have to be thinking, if this happens, what am I going to do? If she hits it over here, what am I going to do? If there's a runner here, I love that aspect of catching. Thank you, Robert. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey, Joel. What has been my favorite part throughout my recruiting process? I would just say the amount of camps that I had, like that I went to, just getting to see all of the other campuses and schools that were out there. That was really fun. Traveling to different places is always fun. And just seeing the coaches, it's a little nerve-wracking, but when you're at a game and you know that some of those coaches are there watching you or just watching your team, it's like exhilarating. It's fun. I think that's one of my favorite things about my recruiting process. And obviously the commitment, that's what we're all shooting for. That was very, very exciting for me. Thanks, Jenna. What are the most beneficial strength workouts that have helped you become a collegiate catcher? I wouldn't say so much as strength workouts. I do a lot of I use bands, like bands around your knees, bands around your ankles, catching with those, doing the kind of, like duck walk, I'd say, just like squatting and walking. I think that just really helps with building like the stamina and the leg muscles, and then obviously stuff like squatting and like leg press, just anything like that is really good. I think getting into a strength and conditioning workout, like somewhere, or even, if you just look online for one, I think that could be very beneficial. Because I know right now I'm in 3 days a week, I do strength and conditioning, and I think that it's very beneficial. So I would get into that. What was eye-opening about the recruiting process? I would say just how much goes into recruiting and how much you have to think about where, I don't know, there's just a lot of, it's just, I don't know, I might have to come back to that one. Give me a minute to think about that one. What do you think had a bigger impact on your recruiting, your catching or your hitting? I think my hitting definitely was what impacted my recruiting. I feel like now I've grown into catching better, but my hitting was definitely what got me noticed. One thing that I would always do is I would post hitting videos on Twitter, and those always got. If you go on my Twitter, you can see that the hitting videos always get way more than the catching videos that I post. So definitely my hitting had a bigger impact on my recruitment. Thanks, Robby. Do you prefer throwing down from your knees or popping up? It just depends on where the pitch is located. I personally like popping up and going on my feet, but I can do both, and I think it's it depends on the school that you're going to, but I think it's beneficial to be able to do both. Because if there's a ball high and you can only throw from your knees, I think that you should be able to, if pitch is high, throw from your feet. If the pitch is low, throw from your knees. So, but it's honestly up to you, and it's up to colleges. I've been to a camp where a coach would want you to throw from your knees, and then I've been to a camp where the coach would rather you throw from your feet. So it really just depends on you and how you're feeling, and then how the colleges and coaches are going to want you to throw. So, yeah, good question. What bat size do you use, size and brand? So I use a 33 drop 9 just in bats. I'm trying to reconnect. Okay, my personal favorite is DeMarini's. I cannot tell you how many times I've tried so many bats. And I like bats, I like the Ghost, but I've also broken 6 of them, so I just went back to DeMarini. I tried Louisville. I like Louisville, but DeMarini is always just my go-to. Specifically the CF8. That's my favorite, all-time favorite. What is your ball exit speed? From hit, I think what you mean is hitting. My exit speed, it ranges, the highest that I've ever gotten is 82, but I'm, I just forgot the word, consistent around 79, just, it's like 70. Yeah, I broke about 6 ghosts. I think I broke like 2 or 3 in 2 months span, and it was always in that time where you could send it back. So all of the, I only bought 1 of the ghosts, but I broke them so easily and so fast that I would be able just to quickly get the warranty. So that was kind of funny, but yeah. What grade were you in when you became a part of NSR? I actually got with Robby in 7th grade. So I've had Robby all throughout my recruitment, which has been a huge help. I can't even tell you how thankful I am for him. I don't know where I would be without him. But I got started in 7th grade. But it's been a long time. There's one picture, I think he might have posted it, but of me going to one of his like prospect camps, and I was so short. I got like a late growth spurt, so I was so short, just sitting next to him. It's kind of funny. What is your most and least favorite pitch to hit? So I like low pitches, so I feel like drop balls I like hitting drop balls, curve balls. My least favorite pitch to hit are changeups, and then I've been staying off of rise balls, but I don't like rise balls. I love catching rise balls. But I don't like hitting them. Least favorite pitch to catch is I would say drop ball, just because it gets better when you have the connection with your pitcher, but for new pitchers, you just never know if their type of drop ball, if they want it to hit the ground, if it's gonna hit the ground, or if it's just gonna stay up. That to me, I don't like drop balls, but I like hitting them. Hey, Grandma. In your opinion, is there a difference between a baseball swing and a softball swing? I do think that I think that there's a slight difference. I would say that the mechanics and everything is the same. Like when I go to my hitting coach, he always shows me baseball videos. So if there's a difference, it's not that much, because I feel like the mechanics and everything is the same that as you want to be hitting. So I don't think there really is a difference, actually. Because you still want the bat path is still going to have to be the same. The getting your knee down stuff going to be the same. It just depends. How important is the pitcher-catcher relationship? That is extremely, extremely important. Thanks, Amy, for that question. I think that a pitcher and catcher relationship is one of the most important things when it comes to like playing a game, because you for a catcher at least, you need to know everything about your pitcher. You need to know what's her favorite pitch, what's her least favorite pitch, what's the pitch that she's going to want to throw the most in certain situations. And you most importantly need to know how to calm them down or how to pump them up. Like you need to know each other, because it will make everything so much better. And you'll just understand each other more, and you'll be able to work better as a team more. What's your best advice for those in the recruiting process? I would say don't do it alone. That's the biggest thing. And of course, you don't have to go with NSR, but just having someone there with you that has knowledge about the recruiting process is just going to help you in so many ways. Because I had no idea what I was doing before I went to Robby, so I'd have no idea. And then also communicating is a huge thing, especially with like emailing coaches. Though I think one of the biggest rules is do not mass email coaches, because they get thousands of emails every single day, and trust me, they're gonna realize if it's the same email that you've just been sending to 20 other college coaches. So if you can just put something, if you can just put something in there, like why you like their program, even just like, I don't even know, like a fun fact about their school, they're gonna know, and they're gonna be like, hey, like she actually took the time to, to send this email to me and personalize it. And then also, I know one thing for me that really helped me was Twitter, actually. I felt like Twitter was a big way that I could get my videos out there and other coaches could see them. And then also playing for a team that can get you the exposure that you need. Because in the beginning of my recruiting process, I wasn't playing for a team that was getting the exposure that I wanted. And so a big reason why I started getting recruited was because I played for a national level team, and that we're going to tournaments in Colorado and California. So that's what How important are your academics in the recruiting process? I think it's extremely important, because if you're a stud on the field, but you're also just like super smart, that's going to help you in such a huge way. And I just think that you don't get caught up in just in the athletic part. Also, you just need to know that when you're going to college, and every coach will tell you this, you're going to get an education. That's like the main goal. Your work is softball, but you're going there to get an education. So I think that it's a huge thing. Do your travel coaches let you call pitches, and how do you determine what to call? It just depends on the game for calling pitches. I know in high school, this is different, but in high school I started calling my own pitches this year. But for travel ball, it just depends on the game. And if a big part of that, again, is, having that relationship with your catcher and pitcher, like having that relationship, that's a huge, that's like a huge thing to let you call pitches. And then the second part of that is, and how do you determine what to call? Again, that's just with the pitcher-catcher relationship. And then also just having that mindset of just, when you're receiving pitch, or when you're getting pitches from a coach, it's so much different when you're calling them. When you're calling them, you have to, just be mindful of what the situation at the time is. And if a big part of that is just knowing if you can remember what that, that hitter got out on a rise ball, or that hitter, I know she can't hit change-ups. That's a big part of determining what pitches that you call. So, yeah. And I'm going to stress this, but just the relationship that you have, because there has been many times where there's a pitch that I really want to call, but my pitcher's not comfortable throwing it. And so I just think having that is very, very important. How important is it to be vocal as a catcher? That's like one of your main jobs, is to be vocal. You are like the eyes of, this is what I think, you are the eyes of the field. You can see everything as other people can't. So you need to be speaking every pitch, every hit, just telling them where to go. And that's another thing too, is that that's why I like catching, is because you always have to be on top of the game, and you always have to be think ahead of everybody else. And so it's so important to be vocal, because if you're not vocal, some people might not know where to go. You are the person guiding them and telling them where to go. Thanks, Lonnie. is Purdue the only offer that I had? And if not, how many college coaches did you talk to roughly? So Purdue was the only offer, the official offer that I had, but I was talking to a lot of coaches during that time. I'm gonna kind of go into recruiting. So after the rule change, so I had been, there from seventh and eighth grade, and then I think right in the middle of eighth grade, the rule changed. And so I continued to go to camps and just get a feel. And the one thing I did is one thing I would stress is make sure that you're going to camps that either you're interested in or they're interested in you. Because you don't want to waste that money. You don't want to waste that time. See, this is what I'm talking about with rambling. But at the time of September 1st, I got many calls, but Purdue, once I got that call, I was very interested in Purdue from the beginning, but once I got that call and I was on that visit, I knew that was the school for me. What do you say to a pitcher when you go to the mound? Technical advice about the batter or more motivational? There's more. Always wondered that. So it depends. It depends on what the pitcher is feeling at that moment. Of course, when I go to the mound, the first thing I always ask is are you okay? Do you? And the biggest thing the biggest reason why I go to the mound is just to give them a breather. They're up there. They're pitching their butt off. Sometimes they just need a breather. They need a break. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I go up there. And a big thing is motivational. But if I know, or, if I can tell that there's something mechanical wrong with them, with the pitcher, I'll go up and be like, hey, you're not opening enough, or you're, and also if I know that hitter, and I can, I remember, hey, she didn't, change ups, or hey, I remember, her mechanics are off. I'll go tell the pitcher and be like, hey, by the way, she can't really hit rise balls, so if you want to throw that, I'm there. But, yeah, it depends on the situation. How do you feel about pitchers shaking off your call? Honestly, I would much rather the pitcher shake off my call than for her to throw something that she's not comfortable with throwing, because I can always work around that. But yeah, I would much rather you shake me off than for you to throw something that you're not comfortable with. Yeah. I think he meant offers, not official, but verbal offers. Oh, whoa. How do I handle defeat? So my mentality is kind of just, I shake it off, but I also will think about what can I do to get better from that, or what did I do and what can I do to fix that. So I don't like just getting that. I do struggle with this sometimes, but I just need to shake it off and just learn from it. Take what I did wrong and make it better, but don't dwell on what you did wrong, if that makes sense. What is your favorite thing about being a catcher? My favorite thing about being a catcher is just, again, being a part of every play. You, again, are like the eyes of the field. Sorry, I have to find my words, but you just get to tell everyone, basically you know everything in your head. You know what to do on the next pitch. I love being vocal. I just like being loud. That's a good plus with being a catcher, being loud. But I love being a part of every play. That's mine. Did you only look at D1 schools? No, I didn't. It was honestly just whatever schools interest me. I've looked at a couple of D2s, but then I always have wanted to go bigger, in a sense that I didn't want to go to just a small school. I love to be surrounded by people, so I was looking for a bigger school. But it didn't always have to be D1. What does game management look like for you behind the plate, and how in control do you like to be? I do like to be in control when I'm in the game. Not so much as overly in control, like if that pitcher doesn't throw right, I'm going to scream at her. But one of the big things that I do is I like to, after the inning gets over, go to the pitcher and talk to her and just tell her, what I think, not necessarily what I think she should be doing, right? But just what I thought from that inning, and ask her, like, hey, do you still want to throw these? Or would you rather, like, are you still feeling comfortable? Like, I just like having that gauge on the game and how everyone's feeling, if that makes sense. I don't know if this has been asked, but what do you plan on majoring in? I plan on majoring in biology and minoring in psychology. I really want to go into the medical field. It's been like my dream. I've always wanted to go into the medical field. I started out wanting to like do medical examiner, and then now I'm thinking about, and then I wanted to do, but now I'm wanting to do neonatology. So it's a lot. People talk about having to sacrifice for the recruiting process. What did you and your family have to sacrifice and miss out on to achieve your dream? That's a really good question. I would say, honestly, if it's really your dream, it's not going to feel like a huge sacrifice. In the sense of, I'm not getting to hang with my friends this weekend, or I can't go to this concert. If that is truly your dream, then it shouldn't feel like a sacrifice. But I just think, I guess the biggest sacrifice, and I have to give my mom a huge shout out for this, but just taking the time away for travel, I just think that would be the biggest sacrifice, is having to drive. Like my mom, what we would do is, or what we started doing is, she would sleep that day, and then, yes, Robby just said, remember the long home calls with you and Christy while you were on the road. Yes, so like my mom would sleep, and then I would sleep and we would drive all throughout the night. So it's not really a sacrifice in the sense of, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I can't do that, but just the fact that just traveling, I would just say, is like the biggest sacrifice. But again, it shouldn't feel like, if it's really your dream, it shouldn't feel like a sacrifice. Favorite catching drill. All right, so I have a couple. My favorite catching drills I like to do is on the BOSI or BOSU ball. And I just feel like it really just helps stabilize me and keep me, and like, it keeps, what we've been working on with my catching coach is it helps me keep my like form when I'm framing. But what I like to do is, I have a tennis ball right here, is you're on the BOSI ball, and it also keeps you balanced, obviously, but in your squatting, and you put the tennis ball right here, and you go side to side with like framing and catching balls. And one, on the BOSI ball, it helps stabilize you, but with the tennis ball, it'll help you have soft hands when you're catching. So that's a really good one I like. What's something you wish you knew before you started the recruiting process? I would just say, I guess the communicating part, how important communicating to the coaches is, and how important it is to get your name out there. Like, I wish I just knew that way before I started. I guess, yeah, that's a good. Okay, well, it's 2. Thank you guys so much for getting on to me. Sorry, I just read that. I had so much fun, and if any of you guys have any other questions, you can always DM me or text me on my Twitter. I just look up Ryen Rassi. But I had so much fun, and feel free after this just to ask me any questions that you want. All right, it was fun talking to you guys.